Great. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today in what will hopefully be a great conversation. I'd like to start by introducing myself. My name is Shanice Gounden, and I'm the COO of Africa Teen Geeks. I studied chemical engineering, but my passion has always been in technology. And with that said, I'd like to welcome our special guest, Aurore Dimopoulos. Aurore is the Director of Real-Time Learning at Unity Technologies in the United Kingdom. She studied game development at the university and began her career at Unity as the community manager, being the eyes, ears, and voice of Unity on the forums and social media. After 8 years at the company, she now leads multiple teams responsible for Unity's learning game projects and platform, teaching millions of people across the world how to become developers for free. Aurore, welcome. I'm excited to chat to you today.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me. Hello, everyone.
Do you want to just give us a brief overview of yourself?
Yes, so really what I do at Unity is my teams create learning material and projects. They're usually different, so we create different kinds of games, VR experiences, AR experiences, all to help you learn Unity and learn real-time skills to get into the tech industry.
That's awesome. Can you tell us a bit more about what you do personally?
What I do personally, so I lead the teams, I oversee the types of projects that are created. I work with our educators and our game developers and work through the development process, and also help decide what we're going to learn, how we teach. And I also dabble in development myself and do things like this where I build demos and games to show all of you.
It's awesome to see a woman in this tech field.
Yeah.
Would you mind taking us through the game development process?
Yeah,
showing
absolutely.
us.
Yeah, so I can do that within the playground project as we talk through it, if you're happy for me to do that.
More than happy.
Yes, perfect. Let me share my screen. So really the game development process is centered around individual skills interacting with different types of software. So Unity is the software that brings everything together. So this will be a number of people, game designers who are responsible for the story, how it makes people feel, how they interact with the games, all the way through to artists, so those drawing and creating 3D objects, as well as audio engineers, producers who organize the entire project, and programmers who essentially tell the computer and give instructions to the project themselves to do what they need to do. So I'm going to share my screen, and what I'll do very quickly, and it'll be a bit like a cooking show because there's a number of things I've prepared earlier, but we have a project in Unity that we've released as the education team to help you learn how to put games together without any code. And if you are a programmer and you're familiar with that, you can dig into it. And so I'll go through all of the roles. So if you're not familiar with Unity, just quickly, and I'll do this as quick as I can, this is my canvas. So here is where I will be essentially painting or like organizing everything that I want in my game. This will be where my game will be. And this is where all the objects will be organized. This is my folder where I have everything stored. And then this is all the setting. It's very complicated, but you don't need to sort of know everything right now. So I first start off, and this is what we do at Unity when we build our projects, is we think of a design. So what do I want to make? How do I want my players to interact, and how do I want them to feel, and where's the fun? So today I'm going to act as all the roles. And I will start with thinking I'm going to create a game that's set in space. I love sci-fi. And I will, so it will be set in space. I'll be a spaceship and I want to rescue my friends. And there'll be some asteroids in the way that I have to avoid. So first I need to start with my space. So we have within this project, we have a number of backgrounds and situations possible, but here is my space. and it's filled out the entire area here because space is big. Again, this is my canvas of where I'm going to orchestrate everything that I want to do. And I want to be a spaceship. So I need to find my character and drag that in, and nothing's really going to happen now. So if I press play, so as Unity, we bring everything together. Oh, it's falling. I have gravity in my space, which is wrong. So another part of game development is problem solving. So you'll see this a lot with quality assurance testers, and we'll be testing all the time and fixing things as we go. So that's another key important role within the games industry, and within multiple tech industries as well. So I need to fix this problem that I found almost immediately, which is my gravity. So as I've prepared some of this earlier, I've put physics, so really given physical presence to what I have in my game here. And this will be the same if you're thinking of any kind of game. I'm making a quick 2D game right here, but there's 2D games, there's 3D games, there's VR experiences, and with VR experiences, you're thinking of a designer and an artist will be thinking of the entire world around you. So it's very different. The type of interactions are very, you want to reach out and touch things, and you need to be very conscious of what your player will be wanting to do in that VR experience. So I've removed my gravity, and now I want my spaceship to move. And this is where programmers come in. So a programmer will write the instructions that tell the game what to do and tell the game what they want the player to be able to do. So I want the player to be able to use the keyboard inputs to move around my space. So with this, my programmers have already luckily prepared me scripts so I don't have to write them. But this is what they look like. Here are your scripts, and this is a very long script, but they can be small, they can be long. Big games have lots of scripts, smaller games don't have that many, but it really is instructions and asking the computer to do what we want it to do. So I'm going to put my push, and I'm going to tell it to use the up arrow. So I'm asking the computer, when I press the up arrow, I would like to push my spaceship forward. And I would also like to rotate my spaceship around space. So I'm going to do the same here. And this is already set. So now when I play, I very quickly should be able to rotate and push my ship around. So that's pretty cool. That's exactly what I want. My camera is a little bit too zoomed in. I want to, going back to game design. So as you see, I'm moving between the game design, the programming, the art, because that's all the collaborations that happen within the industry, and it's all very much in a cycle. So we try something, it doesn't quite work, we'll go back to the design, we may go back to the artist and back to the programmers, and it's all a cycle until we get a finished game. So it's a very collaborative and fun process. So I have my spaceship. I'm just going to make it look as if I'm a bit more in space. So now I'm thinking about the camera and what I can see. If this was in 3D, I'd think about where I can move around objects. If I was in VR, I'd be thinking, okay, where's the person positioned? What are they looking at in real world in all 360 space? Do I need them to look up? Do I need them to look down? So I'm just gonna make this a bit more aesthetically pleasing and a bit more spacious. So just to hurry up, because I know we don't have too much time, now I'm going to start adding in my fun parts, my obstacles, my issues. So my original game design, I wanted to be a spaceship in space. I wanted to avoid obstacles, and I want to save my friends. So I'm going to start putting my obstacles in, and I think I can push them around right now. Here's one I made earlier in terms of my cooking show, and I've just added physics to it. So all without any programming right now. And I can push those around, but it doesn't really do anything or tell me anything. So maybe I need to add a little bit more peril to that. So first I need to ask my programmers again to give me some scripts that tell the game that I want my spaceship to have some health. So I'm going to add that in, and they've written me a health system script. And I can have 3 health in that, so I have access to the amount of health, which is awesome. Can't really see anything as a player yet, which is a bit of a problem. But first, so now my ship has 3 health. Now I also need to think about what the asteroid needs to do. It needs to take away. So it needs to change and modify the health. So here it's going to modify. My programmers thankfully have given me all of that, and it's -1. So hopefully when I actually run into any asteroids, I can eventually lose health and my ship has disappeared. Now, another aspect of building games is to inform your player or inform your customer, whoever is interacting with your technology, to tell them what is happening. And this is done by actually user interface artists, and they're responsible for giving the information to the player. So I'm going to put a user interface which gives my player all of the information that they need. And this also holds scripts to give me the rules of the game, and it's displaying the rules of the game. So I am going to say my game is going to be based on life. So if I lose the life by running into my asteroid, it should hopefully say, doesn't quite say game over yet. That's because I've not told, I need to problem solve. I have not told the engine, I have not told Unity that my spaceship is actually a player. So don't worry about that. Now that should work. I'm actually going to add in my friends that I need to rescue. So I've also prepared these. So I've selected this, my little alien friend, and I'm dragging in the wrong place. So now I have the foundations of my game almost. So I need to tell the computer that I need to collect my friend and actually pick them up. And we'll say it's worth 1 point for now. And I need to change the rules of the game, because my rules of the game that I want to make is I want to collect all of my friends and then win. And I don't want to, win any other way. So I'm going to just tell the user, I'm going to tell that script to say just score, and I'm going to base it on just 1 because I want to collect 1 friend. And so I'll play, and hopefully if this works, it should say, once I've collected my friend, this should say I've won. And so that's the cycle that happens. What I haven't gone through is actually audio, and audio would be all the sounds and everything that makes, so you could hear the ship move around. You could maybe hear your friends say, help me, come and rescue me, to give you a bit more indication. You could also, the other roles that are involved will be effects. So any kind of particles or effects that come from the ship, from the thrusters, which I haven't gone through today. And then there's level design as well. So there are game designers who will think of the overall rules of the game, but level designers will take all of these objects. Now that I have the main parts of my game, they'll take these objects and start designing the level. So they will look at how complex we can make it. Where should we place all of these to give the player the right experience, the right challenge level? Can they collect all of their friends? Is it possible to? And they start designing all of that. So very quickly, I've got a very little game. And I hope that goes through all of the different roles. I'm one person, but games can be made by hundreds of people in a big team making big games, or actually by one person, just like me. And so it really varies, and the roles also vary. Some people can do multiple roles, some people only specialize in one role. But today I've shown you how you can, and you can do this too. This is all without scripting. And yeah, so that's a little bit about the different roles and how you can put that easily together. I'll stop sharing.
I don't know about you guys, but I now think I have the ability to create a game, and I'm very excited about it. So maybe
where I learnt how to program a degree that was more around art and design, and a little bit of game theory. So I did quite a lot of things, but I never became specialized in one area of video games. So my passion sort of went towards production. And so those are the people that organize the timelines, the budgets, they oversee the entire project. And so one of the great things about that is you can see everything that happens in a project. And so a good path to get into production was community management. And I had started quite a few, sort of communities within the games industry, so that was easy to get in. And I started at Unity once I graduated as Unity's community manager and built my way up to produce these games. And now I lead the team that organizes all of the learning and the creation of these projects for everybody to learn how to do what we do in the industry.
That's cool. And I think we have a lot of kids listening to this. So maybe just to relate to them, what were your interests as a kid?
Yeah, so I'm still quite a big kid. Like, my interests haven't really changed. I started playing video games when I was 5, and I still play video games to this day. They may be a bit different now, but that's what I always loved doing. I loved building Lego. I felt anything tactile and creative that I could do was really valuable to me, and it still is. I have hundreds of Lego sets still. And yeah, I love sort of sci-fi and movies, and I still do to this day. So I haven't really changed. I just got bigger.
I think that's cool. I think every adult aspires to that and hides it a little bit. So any kid that is interested in puzzles and Lego, you are not too far away from being a game developer.
Mm-hmm.
What is the coolest thing about your job?
The coolest thing about my job is really seeing the evolution of these projects. So I see these projects start from just an idea all the way through to them being complete 3D experiences, or a VR experience, or an AR experience. And I see every little step that it takes. And so it's kind of watching something grow, which I love. And then I love seeing it go out into the world, and I love seeing it being used in schools and by really anyone who is trying to learn. And we see it pop up a little bit everywhere, which is really nice.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
What inspires you? What inspires you to do what you do?
Oh, kind of everything. I'm really inspired by people learning and wanting to learn and get into, and having ambition to get into the industry. But I'm also inspired by all of the creative things that I see. So movies and TV shows, especially sort of like action and sci-fi and things like that. And I'm just really inspired by anything creative and artistic.
Well, you've kind of mentioned that there's a lot of opportunities in your industry. There's a lot of roles that you work with. To you, what are the really cool opportunities that you see in your industry?
Yeah, so there's so many great opportunities and new technology. Like the VR and AR space is developing all of the time, and becoming more and more accessible to more people. So that's the most exciting thing. The different ways that you can design experiences and think about experiences in a 360 sort of more location environment where someone is really exciting. So, being a designer, for that designer can work across many different industries, as long as you have an idea and you can formulate it and make it complete, then you're a designer. Also artistic, any artistic thing, 2D artists, 3D artists that are involved in any kind of project are also really exciting, because you are concepting, coming up with ideas and making things look beautiful. And programming is also really exciting, because you're solving problems, and not only are you solving problems or trying to adapt what has been done before into something new, but you're also creating new technology from scratch without really even realizing it, which is always amazing. So yeah, there's lots to do in the industry.
I always say there's nothing quite like seeing something you've made yourself.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch in action.
Yeah.
My final question, and this is probably the biggest one, is what advice would you give our kids, particularly our young girls, to get involved and want to be in technology?
Yeah, I would say keep going. Little tale about me is I started playing video games when I was 5. When I was younger, it was very strange to see a girl play video games. So it was I had such a passion for it, and I kept wanting to do it, that I was almost a little bit stubborn. So know that you're passionate about it, know that you can do it, and keep going, and you will achieve what you want to achieve. And it's not going to be easy, but it's, if you keep going, be stubborn, be confident, is the biggest piece of advice that I really give anyone who wants to break into something new.
That's amazing advice. It's very easy to think that you should stop something what's too difficult. It's about getting started in the smallest step and keeping going.
Yeah.
I believe you had a video, you just wanted to show everyone just what the art of gaming looks like and what could be possible
Yes.
through the Unity platform.
This is all of the, or almost all of the projects that my team have created over the years, and that are available to learn from on Unity's Learn site. So I will share my screen again, and hopefully this doesn't lag too much.
Thank you. I think that looks exciting. It just shows you all you can do with so little, especially if you don't have to have a huge coding background.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the key things that we've learned today is that, you know, it's possible to be a girl in this position and have all this creativity and run all the code despite a lot of stereotypes. As well as, you know, you don't have to be a deep coder. You have a lot of creatives in your space. You have people who like to draw. You have people that like art. So it's not necessarily about being a coder all the time. It's about trying to bring together a whole bunch of things. I think it's very important that you look at what inspires you as a kid, and you start using that to build stuff. Not every solution you build is great. It's going to be. So I think the biggest thing I've learned from you, Aurora, is to just keep trying, start something, keep pushing. And I think that's a good lesson for any kid that's listening to this session. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see we've already got hands up. So let me quickly thank you, Aurora, especially from the Africa Teen Geeks team, for myself personally, and from everyone on this call. Thank you for joining us today. It's been a very good discussion. It's been really nice to see things in practice. And with that said, I would like to open up the floor to questions. I see someone has their hand up. Ohlale. Hello.
Teacher.
Hello. Do you have a question for me?
Is your IT your daily job?
Is my IT my daily job?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. So I work with computers and I work with Unity and I build small projects and I help my team build these projects together as well. So I work with computers and IT all day.
Thank you. Lumbala. Lumbala?
Afternoon, ma'am.
There's a lot of echo there. Do you want to try again?
Afternoon, ma'am.
Afternoon. Do you want to ask your question?
Afternoon, ma'am.
Hello. You can ask your
Ma'am,
question.
what do you think about coding?
You can ask your question.
I didn't catch that last bit. What do I think about?
I think it was, what do you think about coding?
Coding. I like coding. So I've done a number of different types of coding, and as well as art and audio and things like that. And the reason I really like coding is that it gets you it's about thinking around the problems. And so I often see my programmers do this as well, actually not do the code on a computer, but think about, without any code, what instructions am I trying to do? What am I trying to ask the computer to do? What do I want to get out of it? And we really kind of think about that problem, and it's almost a game in itself. Like, that's how I view it. It's like a game in itself, trying to work that out. So that's why I quite enjoy a little bit of coding and solving those problems.
That's great. Nelia, I believe you have your name up. Okay. Walazamo, if I've got that correct.
Teacher Dad. Teacher, does coding helps you to do a robot?
Does coding help you to do, what was the last bit?
A robot. Can you build a robot?
Oh, yes, it does. So robots are really interesting because you need to, much like you would ask a computer to do something, you need to ask robots to do very much in the same way. So you need to ask them to move, you need to ask them to, maybe you have one that picks up, you have to give them very specific instructions in what to do. So coding is actually in a lot more places than just in video games. They're in robots, they're in any device that you use. So it's basically a language, and it's a language to talk to computers and to talk to hardware and anything that is physical. So actually coding is everywhere, and especially in robots.
I think that's exciting for a lot of people. It's just the link between coding, robotics, games, and stuff that you can build. Liviwe.
Hi.
Hi, would you like to ask a question?
Yes. Well, ever since I started on Africa Team Kids, I have loved coding.
Great, that's great to hear.
That's awesome.
It's my favorite subject. I did the maths. It used to be maths, and now coding.
I'm glad that we changed your mind.
You changed it a lot.
That's great to hear. Do you have a question?
That's my question.
I'm so happy that you love coding so much. That's great. So hopefully soon you can, I mean, you can take that skill really far. And I also like that you liked maths before that as well. There's a lot of maths. The more you code, the more maths will happen. So you will get to put all of your loves together in programming as you move forward. That's very exciting. Thank you for sharing.
Definitely. Thank you for that. It makes us feel great about everything that we're doing. And it's good to see that we have kids that are enjoying coding and robotics. It's now where you might be our next great innovator. Are there any other questions for Aurora? Megan, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
There you go.
My question is, can you use very basic coding languages to make very complicated games?
That's a really interesting question, because it's difficult to answer that because it depends on what you want your game to do. Sometimes very complicated games have some very simple bits of code in it, and sometimes the other way around. And it really all depends on your own goals. But to make a complete game of something you want, something small, you can use simple coding to do that. So yeah, I think it depends, but it depends on the individual instruction that you want to give.
I think that's a great answer. Leona.
Hello. No, I just want to, I'm actually from the Department of Education, so I was just listening and viewing. So I just like to thank Aurora. She made it so much more real for the learners, for the young kids that's here, so they can see the possibilities that this has in store for them. And it will go a long way in solving problems, future problems that we will have. So I just want to say thank you. Great initiative, great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leona.
I think we all feel like that. I think it's nice to see that code is not so technical and you can have some fun with it and there's real life application behind it. So thank you very much yet again on behind that. And it's great to hear from our Department of Education as well. Cabello.
Hi. Well, my name is actually Katlio, but my brother was previously on Zoom, so I haven't changed the name yet. My question is, okay, so I know when you're coding, it's great to code and stuff, but you want to use it in different devices. Is there any device that you could maybe start off with or to try and put in your code? Like, for example, using your Python code. Could you put it in, is there any device you could maybe start off with and maybe progress on forward?
So I think with, do you mean when you are learning to code, when you input your code? Is that correct?
I mean, in a way, yes, but like, for example, like the other boy said, like, for example, if you want to program a robot or, for example, using drones and stuff, I just want to know, like, is there a certain device that you could maybe go and buy and use certain coding programs to go and put it in and see if it works?
Right, so any, oh, I see. So any sort of emulators or programs that you can then connect to an external device to make it do something. I think that's what is meant.
I think so. I think Fakile
yeah.
also said she means an emulator.
Yeah. So I don't know too much about that. That's a little bit outside of my knowledge of expertise. But I know there are devices. So there's robotic devices. I know Lego actually do a few devices that you can code. And then there's a robot that you connect that code to, so that those exist. And Lego aren't the only company that do that. So there are quite a few devices that allow you to actually purchase it and then learn to code and then code them at home to then get them to move around. So they do exist, but I can't, other than the Lego example, I can't name any others right now.
Fakile has an explanation as well, so you're welcome to step in, Fakile. If you can hear me.
Oh, hello.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm on a cell phone. So what I'm going to try and do is to log in via my laptop. Then I will just take a video of the Lego system, the robotic system, and some of the devices that can be coded. I'm not sure how to do a video on the cell phone. So let me just switch over to a laptop, and then I'll show you guys the robotics side of things.
I think that would be a cool add-on to our little session. In the meantime, while he does that, are there any other questions for our great game developer? Don't see any coming up right now. I think that's a response to what else you can code with Gemma robots with. Lucky. That's cool. All right, if we're gonna wait for that, is there any last words that you have, any final words that you have for our kids that want to get involved, that, you know, are passionate about all these things? What would you tell them? What did we say?
I would just reiterate that you can do it. You have the passion, you have the ability, you have the support, just keep going. As long as you find your passion, you'll be able to do it. And I'm so happy to be able to share what we do with you. And I'm so excited to see where you go in the future, because you are the future, and you're going to be amazing. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak to you all.
Thank you very much for joining us. I'm not sure if Fakile is back, but it's been honestly a great chat. It's easy to talk to you, and it's great to know how easy this is to do and to get started. And I think a lot of our kids, a lot of our girls are inspired by what you've had to say. And I can only hope that you've inspired our next creative gaming mind. Thank you. I don't know, Fakile, are you back? And if not, then we will, Lindiwe.
Yeah, I am back.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I see Lindiwe also has her hand up quickly.
Okay, she can go first. It's all right.
Yes, no, thank you so much for allowing me. What I wanted to say also, thank you again, Aurora, for taking the time to speaking to our kids. But I wanted, you know, like for you to just a little bit elaborate on how Unity can also be used in animation. So a lot, you know, a lot of the kids are obviously they still watch a lot of the cartoons, and you know, and just for them to, you know, to see what else. You know, it's not just about just coding and making games also, but they can create very cool animation stories. And I mean, for me, it's important because we don't have a lot of African stories being told out there. So there's not a lot of animation cartoons that are set in the backdrop of Africa that are created by Africans. Every time when I watch Madagascar and you hear them going to Africa, to this Madagascar, just, getting the kids to also see what, like a movie like that. For example, there's a lot of other movies that we created using the Unity technologies as well.
Yeah, so I don't have anything that I can quickly pull up right now, but Unity is used in film and animation, so both 2D and 3D. We have the tools to be able to, move the cameras around. For 3D, it's bringing in the animations from other tools and then setting them up and having them interact with each other. And then for 2D, you're able to move your characters it's not just Unity is used in a number exactly what you're doing, and you can see the motion within the Unity engine. Before you would have to draw each and every kind of cell, and now you can just have your character on the screen and move it yourself and then press play, much like I had it in the video game. When I press play in the video game, I can play it. It's the same with the animations and the storytelling that you can do in Unity. So it is absolutely used. So if you are passionate about animation and storytelling, it's not just about games. You can tell your stories, you can create your environments and your worlds, and have them move and really talk about what you want to talk about through Unity and through your creativity. So it's definitely something that happens in the film and animation industry now.
Then I think just the last part of Lindy's question is, can our kids get involved? Can our kids use the platform?
Yeah, so we have some learning material that is how to create your stories. So it gives you assets, as in it gives you characters and it gives you an environment and teaches you how to set up your cameras, set up your animation, and create that storytelling within that. So that is all on our Learn site. It's able to be interacted with and learn now, actually.
Okay, that's really great. So kids or parents, if you're interested, just visit their site. There will be some instructions on how to get there, and if you'd like to get your kids started. I see we've come to the end of our time. Sincerely, Aurora, thank you for this conversation. It's been very good. It's been so engaging from kids, and it's great to see what we can do when art meets code. And it's been a great conversation. Thank you for joining us on behalf of the Africa Teen Geeks team and all our parents and teachers. Thank you very much. Thank you, kids, for joining, and I hope you have a really great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.